reference to these knowledges, the importance is to write. If they don't write, they mix everything up in its understandings. So we talked about Sayyidina Mahdi. People from left to right are talking, from east to west making up stories, most of which are external dunya people, that he will be randomly chosen and he'll be told, by the way, you are Sayyidina Mahdi. The shuyukh are not randomly chosen, not one of them come up as random, real ones. When they entered the tariqah, immediately they were bombarded and immediately they were trained and immediately they were put into seclusions and crushed and crushed and crushed and crushed. You don't derive at any station overnight, because this takes away from many particles of faith, many realities of faith. Allah is not reactive. Allah doesn't look to the earth and say, now is the time, activate Him. He's not reacting to what we do, it has been written. Imam Mahdi who he is has been written. He has been born, he's been trained, and he sits into a anjuman, into a circle of awliya in which none can physically achieve, in case governments are listening and say, take us there. It's blocked off for all physicality. But to understand, there must be immense training, that he immensely knows himself, because who knows himself must know his Lord. Who doesn't know himself doesn't even know Allah, doesn't even know Prophet, doesn't know anything. So that's not the tariqah. The tariqah is he's the master and the most high Muhammadan guide Allah has created. A descendant from Imam Ali through the bloodline of Imam al-Husayn, most powerfully aware of himself, his Lord and his qudra. 1973 was born, and we'll post the article that Mawlana Sharafuddin Sultan al-Awliya with Mawlana Shaykh Abdul Faiz al-Daghestani Sultan al-Awliya described that we have a meeting, important majlis tonight, and the whole story we'll post, in which they went with Haqiqat al-Faiz with the infancy of Imam Mahdi into the Masjid of the Holy Companions in Turkey, underground masjid. And the purpose of that was to bless the child, to dress the child and all of the spiritual security that would encompass his reality. And as a result of his being raised on the earth in Mecca, when the signs became too apparent of his reality, he was taken to Rubba Khalil. Rubba Khalil is the empty quarters within Arabia, and it looks like a line in the sand, and it's exact reflection of the line in Mars. The planet Mars that represents Sayyidina Mahdi, there's a line going through the sand where they call the empty quarter. Empty quarter because they know this is the area of the jinn, not only regular jinn but the jar that over hundreds of feet tall, in which anything that tries to even move physically into that region immediately will vanish. Their power directly from Allah. So not something physical, and I think many of the world's armies have tried to fly through there and tried to look through there, and immediately the jinn bring everything down and those things go vanished into that region. In this region there's the happy cave, was it Thawr Suwada? The happy cave. Why happy? Because the immense Bihish and paradise realities Allah has put within this cave in the presence of Sayyidina Mahdi. And as a result of the presence of Imam Mahdi salam, the Sultan al-Jinn and all the big Sultan al-Jinn that guard and are all around that reality and in his presence, his physical presence surrounded by 50 deputies. And behind these 50 deputies are the 49 Nawab and Khalifas that stand right at the gate of that deputy, which I believe they made now 59 deputies and 59 Khalifas and the 40 deputies behind. Their ruhaniyat is in a continuous state as he is their nucleus and they are his electrons. Their wujud circumambulates his reality at all times. He is Saheb al-Imdad. Why? He's the nucleus, that he holds all tariqas and he's known through the Naqshbandi way, because the Naqshbandi shaykhs were responsible for the tarbiyah and the raising and the ulum and the knowledges. So Naqshbandiya is the soul of all tariqas. Imam Mahdi salam is Naqshbandi. In his zuhur of coming out, because of his presence and who he is in relationship to Prophet all tariqas will be named Muhammadiyya, that there's no name in the presence of the named one. So the Muhammadiyya, Muhammadiyun is the way of Sayyidina Mahdi salam. And those whom Allah has destined as these levels of guides, and those guides who know themselves in those categories of deputies and Khalifas to Sayyidina Mahdi salam. If they had been trained, because it's not known by people who are not from that category and understanding. If they have been trained they would understand that the ruhaniyat is in that presence. They take the fayaz and the energy of that presence and the qudra to wherever their physicality is dressed from that reality. If you were to grab them and say, take me to that physicality, not possible, it's encrypted and locked, that physicality is not for anything. It's only through their spirituality. Anyone who thinks they're trained in remotely having a vision to enter, all of that is spiritually encrypted, and that nothing can be seen whom is not authorized. So the physicality is on this earth. The zuhur means that when does he come out of the cave? Those are cataclysmic events upon the earth, that when shaitan and the Dajjal system wants to kill 6 out of 7 people, because they call people cattle and cows like animals. They don't think they're humans, they categorize them as animals, therefore they can slaughter them. When they try to slaughter 6 out of 7 of Allah's creation, Sayyidina Mahdi salam's walking out and appearing is to save creation. Means when the order comes, they are killing, they are killing, they are killing those whom Allah destined and wrote for them not to be killed. They are from those 1 out of the 7. 6 out of the 7 will pass. Within the 1 out of the 7 are those whom are mahfuz. Their entire bloodlines have been guarded, and we described in other talks, because shaitans will try to move through timelines to kill you. If he thinks that you're somebody important with Sayyidina Mahdi salam, go to kill your ancient grandfather so you no longer exist, but they're guarded, mahfuz. Allah created this system and He knows what power He's giving to these shayateen, and Allah plans better. As a result they are guarded individuals, those whom will be destined to live throughout this cataclysmic events that will occur upon the earth. They should be guarded by heavenly guards. The power of that guidance coming from the heart of Sayyidina Mahdi salam. That's why now these ayahs are coming out, these teachings and knowledges are coming out as decrees that fix yourself, protect yourself, make your connection. If you're waiting like reactive mentality, oh I won't do anything Shaykh until I see the entire world burn down. This is very, very bad thinking. The proactive mentality is that I think I believe enough and I don't need Allah to take us to that level, I want to be nothing. If you train to be nothing, to be nothing, to be nothing, what did we describe last night? Everyone in these bombed and destroyed areas they're beginning to see. Why? Because Allah took away the one. When all that people worship is brought to dust, what's left? But pure worshipness to the heavens. They see the angels, they see the light, they see the Divinely Presence within their heart because they believe. The dunya was a distraction to them to really believe. But the one whom is in tafakkur and contemplation, and the faiz from the heart of Prophet to the heart of Saheb Zaman Sayyidina Muhammad al-Mahdi is such an immense power, it will shatter the hearts of people and bring down all their dunya.